Hey guys, what's going on? It's Sports Talk with Stock here, and today in this video I'm going to be talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. It's going to be their 2020-2021 season deep dive. So I'm just going to go ahead and get into the team outlook. The last season, I'm going to talk about a little bit about their last season. They had a very on and off last season. They started off with a win, then they went to 2 losses, 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 wins, 3 losses, 4 wins, and then they lost to the Seahawks in the playoffs. Now, that's very streaky. I think they're honestly probably going to they're going to probably do better this year, but at the same time they can do a lot worse this year too. Now, there's also some notable players on the team that are just absolute game changers. You have Carson Wentz, who is a top 5 quarterback in the league. He is one of just the best players and can win with absolutely nothing. And Zach Ertz, he's also a top 5 tight end in the league. And then their offensive line is possibly the best the best single unit in the entire NFL. Wow. Then defense, they have Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, and Derek Barnett, who should make a great defensive line. And I just feel like altogether, they have a bunch of game changers on this team, and they can actually be really good this year. They will be honestly an interesting team. They have a harder schedule this year, and they honestly play like a tough team. And last year they got really injured, and they still made it to the playoffs, which is crazy to be as injured as they were and to still make it to the playoffs. That's unbelievable. What is it clear where they stand right now? Absolutely not. They can lose a bunch of games, they can be injured a lot, or they can just be absolutely carried by Carson Wentz, or just have everybody play into their roles and everybody step up and play a great physical brand of football and just be amazing. So I have no idea really where they're going to be this year, but I'm going to predict it's on the higher end of the wins. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get into some players to watch. Of course, you have Jalen Hurts, who was drafted in the second round this year in the NFL draft. That was one of the biggest question marks in the NFL draft, but honestly, I love that pick by the Eagles. Carson Wentz seems like he's behind it. They all seem like they're behind it, and I'd love to see if they use him like a Taysom Hill type of quarterback, just on their field. If for a running threat, he can be playing a running back, a receiver, a tight end, just anywhere on the field. Maybe he'll even play special teams like Taysom Hill. It's just going to be really exciting to watch what Jalen Hurts does and what he can do for that team. Then you have Miles Sanders, who had a very average season last year. He was a rookie, so you should be able to see him take a step forward next year and really just improve his game all around. And he is a dual threat guy. He can run on you and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. And then you also have Boston Scott, who should be a very good rotational player with Miles Sanders. And for receivers, you have the rookie Jalen Reagor, and he was the first round pick for the Eagles for a reason. They saw something in him. I trust Howie Roseman. I trust his system, and I trust that Jalen Reagor is a good player, and he will be a good receiver for Carson Wentz, which is something that he has been lacking last year. And hopefully he can fix some of the problems with the injuries. I mean, of course, he's not going to go and fix it, but he can be hopefully a guy that is not injured and a consistent player for them. Then you have Josh Sweat, who I think he can be a really good rotational player on the D-line, coming in for Brandon Graham or even Fletcher Cox maybe, or even Derek Barnett. You never know. But I just feel like you should watch him on the interior defensive line. He can be a good player. Then you have Jalen Mills, who is switching over to the safety position after playing the corner position. He's filling in for Malcolm Jenkins, who went to the Saints this offseason. He's going to have to play really good to fill the shoes that left Malcolm Jenkins. But I think he can do it if he really puts his mind to it. He really puts in the work, and he just can be a really good player. He can be a ball hawk, and he can play just a hard-hitting style of defense. And I'm really interested in what I'm going to see from Jalen Mills. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into the position group grading. So at QB, I have an A+. Carson Wentz, such a good quarterback. He's, like I said, a top 5 quarterback in this league. And Jalen Hurts, also, he should make that room pretty good too. So I'm not sure what we're going to see from that quarterback room, but I'm excited for it. And Carson Wentz has proven himself to be a great player in this league. Then you have at running back, I'm giving them a B because there's a lot of unproven players in that room. And I think Miles Sanders will be good, but like I said, he's unproven, and so is Boston Scott. But I do want to see good rotation in between them, and I both think they are good dual threat guys coming out of the backfield. Now, for the receiving group, I gave them a B+. This has a potential to be like one of the best. I really love Alshon Jeffrey, and then you have Deshaun Jackson, who is still one of the fastest players in the NFL. And then, of course, you have Jalen Reagor, their new pick. So I just think those three guys, if they can stay healthy and they can stay consistent, then they can just be a really good trio. And then, of course, at tight end, I'm giving this an A because you have Zach Ertz, who is, in my opinion, a top 5 tight end in the NFL. And just probably behind Kelsey and Darren Waller and George Kittle. And then you also have Dallas Goedert back there, who is a good player too. He has hands and he can block for you if you want. Then on the O-line, just one of the best offensive lines in the entire NFL. And if it is not the best, then it is a definite top 3 in my opinion. Then you go switch over to the defensive line. It's A-. Still one of the best in the league. It still has pretty good depth. And they have good names. They have Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett, and they have Fletcher Cox, which are still 3 good players, good pass rushers, good run stoppers. Then you go into linebacker. I'm giving it a C+. This is their most questionable room. All of them have good potential. I think all of them are a little bit injured too often, and the rest of them are a little bit too experienced. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into the defensive backs. I'm giving this one a B. If they can stay healthy, they can be pretty good. And especially with the addition of Darius Slay, it can be a really good addition for the Eagles, and it can really benefit the rest of that defensive back room since he is such a shutdown cornerback already. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into the team MVPs, stat leaders, and the win projections for the Eagles. For the team offense MVP, it's Carson Wentz. Like I said before, he's a top 5 quarterback, easily one of the best players in the NFL. But why he is so good is because he can literally win with no one, throwing to nobody like he did last year. The line was injured. Receivers like 5th and 6th and 7th string wide receivers, and just unbelievable how he can win with absolutely nothing on his team. So that's what makes him such a good player. Then on team defense MVP, I'm going to go ahead and go with the new addition of Darius Slay. He is one of the best shutdown corners in the league. Top 5 at his position. And he can really transform their defense, their defensive backs this year. If he shuts down one side of the field, that leaves play for players like Jalen Mills and Ronnie McLeod and the rest of the and Avonte Maddox, my bad, that to just really not worry as much about the rest of the field, and they can just focus on their area. For team, or their dark horse MVP, is Zach Ertz. Like I said earlier, he's a top 5 MVP or top 5 tight end in the league, and he's just such a consistent player. He led them in receiving yards. Didn't have quite 1,000, but I think he is such a great player anyways. For the passing leader of the team, it's going to be Carson Wentz. I'm going to say he's going to have 4,500 yards, 34 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. For the rushing leader, I have Miles Sanders. I have him getting 900 yards. And then Boston Scott, I have him getting 5 rushing touchdowns. For receiving, I'm having Zach Ertz getting 1,100 receiving yards. And then you have 8 receiving touchdowns and 95 receptions. For total tackles, I have Nathan Jerry getting 80 total tackles, leading the team on that. Tackles for loss, you have Brandon Graham having 15 tackles for loss. Sacks, Derek Barnett, I think he's going to take a big step forward and get 12 sacks. And Darius Slay leading interceptions with 3, but I also think he's going to take a couple to the house. I'm not going to say how much, but I think he's a good enough player that he can do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into their record predictions. The lowest I have them going is 4-12. That's if they're really injured like they were last year and they just don't play with heart like I feel like sometimes they don't. Then their highest record, I am going 11-5. They have a really tough schedule this year, and I think they're a good team. But if there's not a lot of injuries and Carson Wentz plays MVP, like they can go 11-5. Then their actual record, I believe they're going to go 10-6. If Carson Wentz just plays like how he usually does, and they come up in the clutch in the late season, then they should have no problem making it to the playoffs. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into the team summary. Can they keep injuries to a minimum? If they can't, are they going to be a bad team? Is Carson Wentz going to excel them and push them even if they have a lot of injuries? If not, is Carson Wentz going to push them anyways? I think so. But can Wentz even make it through a full season or through a full season with the postseason? He hasn't done that before, other than his rookie year where he played all 16 games. But he just needs to stay healthy, and I think with the addition of Jalen Hurts, that's really going to help actually more than people realize. And then who's going to step up from the sidelines? Who's going to come from a role-playing position to a star player on the team? That's the transition we need to see from the Eagles to see them go to a higher record and to see them make a run in the playoffs. And if they have a few things go right for them, they win the right games, they can be a force to be reckoned with, especially if they get confidence behind them. And do not underestimate Wentz. This entire episode, I've just been talking about how Carson Wentz is just such a good player and carries the football team. And with that, I'm just going to end off with I believe they are the best in their division. So that's going to wrap up the video for the Philadelphia Eagles deep dive video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. And if you want, comment down below the next team you want me to do. I'm sorry that this video took so long to get out there. It was just my monitor died, so I had to get a new monitor. And then I had to finish my final exam in my summer school class. But anyways, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys next time.